What's up guys? Welcome to another video. Today we're gonna talk about mods. So there are 5 modifications that I wanna make to this bike. Of course this bike is gonna be heavily modified, not for any particular reason, just because I built like a dream bike for myself. And these 5 mods are all based on 3 major principles. So first of all, it's to create like a super light bike, like 1 to 5 weight with a 250 power. Actually, like with all the mods of the motor, it's gonna be like 300 or 350 power on a 125 weight. And second of all, I have to be parts from most of the brands that we partner with other projects that we have or business that we have. And the third one, it has to be something like it's made, everything that we put on the bike have to be made in the US and all the stuff. But then we went through some issues, meaning like it's almost impossible, like suspension, of course. All-ins, we partner with them and they're from Sweden. Even the motorcycle itself is not from the US and all this stuff. So it's kind of, and also trying to reduce weight and stuff like that. We need stuff like they're coming from out the country, and especially for our partnership with the like worldwide brands. And so this kind of falling apart, this last part. So let's go through the 5 mods that I think they are the most important to put in this bike, and it can be applied to any bike out there with this, keeping this principle, making a super light bike, which I think it's very, very important. And you see, out there online, even, if all the interview on the pre-season on Tomac about what's actually improving the bike, you always say it's lightweight right now. And all the parts out there is like, oh, it's lighter than stock. Oh, this bike is lighter, but how much lighter? This is the question, and this is why even if you see like this bike already have some mods, like, well, only suspension. But if you see online, on our channel, the video when we install the suspension, actually we put the suspension on the scale and we compare it to the stock suspension, and we come out with the difference on weight, which is about 4 pounds heavier for the all-ins. Because of course they have a spring system versus the air fork on the WP. So you need to keep in mind everything, and we have to we are putting a track of all those numbers, because at the end of the day this bike is coming very light with not much protection or guards on the bike. So we are going to add in weight, and of course we're gonna put lighter components that we are keep removing some weight on some other parts. And so the most important part, of course, in a dirt bike are suspension, and any vehicles are the wheels itself, and so the overall power of the engine and all the stuff. So first mod, the suspension. As you can see, we work with all-ins. We got some Kit A suspension with the titanium springs inside and all that stuff. So this is pretty sweet stuff, tuned specifically for my weight, for the rider weight and everything. These are amazing. It was a dream suspension when I was a pro. Never had those. I had something similar, but not at this level. Not because the technology has any improved or changed that much in all-ins. All-ins, it's been, like 20 years ago was the top with the huge gap compared to other brands. Right now, all the top brands are there as far as technology, so it's have kind of similar product. But so all-ins didn't improve much, so it was already a very good platform. And right now with this, it's amazing. It's a dream suspension. Mod number 2 are the motor and everything related. So the motor is, we're gonna have like a Red Bull straight rhythm package on this, and it's kind of a different motor, have different cylinders, pistons, shaft, cam, and stuff like that. And there is some vary, which is the exhaust and the cylinder head. Cylinder head, we're just right now talking to different, manufacturers to try to find the solution what we are looking for, because we don't like straight ridden motor is made to go straight and makes like supercross ridden in sections, which is not something that we're gonna do. We're gonna do more like desert ride and outdoors type of like classic motocross riding. So we don't need that. So for that means, say the CPU will be a different CPU, the exhaust will be different exhaust, and the cylinder head as well, in order to modify the power delivery on the bike and getting what we really want. Because people out there just buying parts, expensive parts, and then put it together, and it looks amazing, but maybe it's not readable the way the rider will want to, or some riders don't even know what they want to. But if the bike helps what you're lacking of, it will help you to be a better rider, that's for sure. And so we're gonna have like a full instant clutch in the bike, and the exhaust right now, we are actually we wanted to go with FMF. It's just an amazing exhaust system. I don't like much the silencer because it's kind of too big for my taste. I prefer more like shorty, kind of like a pro circuit silencer. But we found a partnership with the brand in Italy that makes titanium cones, exhaust and pipe, and the silencer. So everything titanium is kind of half of the weight of FMF, and since we are seeking to reduce that weight, we're gonna go for it. And so we're gonna have, they're making, actually we send them the specs how we want the exhaust, we want the power deliver, so how to be all the cones and stuff like that. So they are going to make something custom for us specifically, which I'm super stoked and excited about it. Once we receive it, of course, we're gonna do like an unveil and the stuff. Mod number 3, very important part of the wheels. Many people, especially in the US, keep saying Dabia wheels, but Dabia is just a store. They don't make anything, they're not factory, they just assemble the wheels like a wheel assemble, but they assemble with other brands. So they have Kite, they have Talon, they have multiple brands. So I hate when people say Dabia wheels, makes no sense to me, but probably just to me. So we partner with Kite, and we're gonna have some factory team specs hubs, and then we're gonna lace it with some titanium spokes and nipples. And so we're gonna have like Shima coated kind of color for the hubs, and then we have titanium black coated spokes and nipples, and with the black rims. I don't like the A60. The A60 probably they're good for supercross because they are stiffer, but for like regular outdoor riding, I'm not particularly fan of it. The A60, they are too stiff for my taste, and so no. But doing that, we're gonna reduce those 4 pounds that we are putting right now, that we put with the suspension, having the spring versus air. We're gonna recover on the wheels. It's even better because the rotational mass, weight saving is much better. It's happy on the handling, on the overall riding experience on the bike will be much better. So we're going on a super light setup, and then we're gonna wrap it up with some Kenda tires. This download, they're going away. Normally on the OEM, on the stock bikes, the tires have been sitting there for a lot of time, sometimes even a year. And so they're normally super dry, so they last longer than any fresh tire, but have less grip and stuff like that. So the idea is to have some, high-hand Kenda tires. Can't wait to put down it. Once we breaking in the bike and all the stuff, we're gonna start modify it. And also we're waiting, for the exhaust to be made, to the motor to arrive, so lots of stuff. We're taking a little bit more extra time. I'm not very fan of take everything, strip the bike apart, put everything in, and the bike is done, because I want to understand the changes of each part on the bike, so I know what works, what doesn't. Because on paper, many things are amazing, but then when you try, it's like, oh shit, I don't like it at all. So if you do it all together, you at the end of the day, you don't have feeling with the bike, you don't like it, and you don't know what it is, because it can be many things. So instead, when you go through changes step by step, you really you definitely know what's going on, but you like it, but you dislike it. And if you dislike it, maybe you don't dislike the product itself, but maybe the way it's configured. So anyway, this is another major modification. And another modification, number 4, are the carbon fiber parts. We're gonna have tons of titanium, trying over time to get all titanium bolts, screw, and axles in this bike. Everything coated in black. Everybody that puts titanium screw, I see they put it silver like the stock. I prefer black. I don't like either gray because like silver, because like seems like stock. And I don't like when they put it like blue or gold, those kind of colors, because the bolts are something like need to be hidden and not like highlighted. And in my opinion, of course. And so we put everything in black, everything, all the bolts and everything in titanium and in blacks. So the axles and stuff, actually we are making them in one of our sister companies. So we're gonna have some super light axle, and it's amazing how much weight you can save with the, especially more than the bolts, but all the axle and stuff, they're super heavy. The swing arms axle are incredibly heavy. So having some titanium in there, it will be saving, you know, a lot of weight. And then the other part, the last part, the fifth mods are the graphics, which is being, it seems something very simple. And I just don't want to put some graphic in there. Of course, it has to be custom, like all the bike it is. But it turned out that I love this configuration. I love it very much. But these are kind of, you know, not even a decal, it's kind of, you know, printed on it. So I'm assuming by just using it one time, you start scratching it, this plastic, especially being white. So we went through NLab. NLab is gonna make some custom graphic for us. Was even thinking, you know, to make it like remake the same thing, but just in a decal. So the decals can be, you know, it's also protective to the plastic, and then can be remade anytime you want. But at the end I say, no, well, of course we need to add, you know, some sponsors, some partners, and at the same time, so well, since we already have this layout with these graphics, why don't do something different? So we're gonna come out with a new design. We actually already just sent it to NLab. We're gonna come out with something very sick. We did something like, since we are located in Southern California, sounds like ocean motifs and stuff like that. Keeping the same color, you know, lacing together this kind of baby blue of the bike with some, this color, this is perfect with all-ins because it's the classic all-ins color. You see, it's pretty much the same color on the spring of the shock. So we're gonna keep the same stuff. Then we're gonna unveil the graphic as well. These are coming pretty soon for sure. So we're gonna have a different seat cover. Yeah, I think it's a seat cover or complete seat with the ribs and all stuff. Everything, you know, matching the colors of the bike, which is, we're gonna keep this blue because I love it. And just tie it up a little bit more with the color. Have the ribs on these yellows and stuff like that. So everything to tie it up nicely, the bike itself. So these are the 5 mobs that you're gonna see coming in the next videos in this channel. But like I said, the most important part beside the power of the motor, because in my opinion there's already enough power with the stock everything, it just the main focus right now is to shave weight. So when the product will be done, with all the mods are being done, what I'm expecting is to have like a super light bike, like 125 weight or even less, with the huge power. So stay tuned, follow this challenge, which it is a pretty big challenge, and we're gonna come out with the new video every week. And so hope you enjoy. Hope you can subscribe this channel and stay tuned with us.